To understand how the Microsoft Internet communications work, it'll be useful to explain what's actually happened in the background. Essentially, a series of file transfers of data like pieces of a puzzle are downloaded to your local machine. These files are then pieced together and used to display the contents of the website in your local browser. Along with the files used to display the actual website, numerous other files are downloaded to the endpoint, such as third-party cookies and analytics data. Some of the files make the user's experience easier the next time they want to visit a web page or access resources on the web. The local copy will be accessed if available. When Internet Explorer 9 accesses web pages on the internet, they store this local web data in files and folders on the local hard drive. A variety of web data is downloaded to the local machine. Some of the types of files include cookies, which are small text files that used to automatically authenticate or to identify you, document object models, which are scripts usually, and things like favor icons, the little icon pictures at the top of the title bar. The files are located either in the temporary Internet Files folder or specifically named folders. The browser will then access these local files the next time the user visits the website. The browser also creates lists, indexes, and tables of information about the data that's downloaded by the user. In IE9, this was called index.dat. These can contain things like history and popular sites, a list of sites visited and most visited. These files are needed everywhere the user logs on to maintain a consistent user experience. Luckily, they're fairly easy to redirect to a network location or to capture with a profile management solution. In IE10, files are still downloaded locally as before, however a new database was introduced to help the user experience when browsing. The database, called Webcache, is used for many purposes, including indexing the websites visited, an aid to predictive URL completion, calculating the top site lists, indexing cookies, and organizing the history. The idea being that the database can be accessed, indexed, and searched much more quickly than the files are on the disk. The browser accesses this information if you are visiting for the first time or returning to a site. It will check the required files already exist locally by querying the database, which tells it where to look on the disk for the files it needs. Because the Webcache database gets locked at session start, this causes issues with redirecting the Webcache files. If you attempt to copy the files to the network without the database, this will result in loss of data or a degraded user experience. From Windows 10 version 1709 onwards, the mechanism for accessing the local download content changes again. Some files are still downloaded directly to the disk, but the majority of the cookies and other important files are kept within and copied directly to the Webcache database. Essentially, the same files are downloaded from the website as before. However, more of the local files the website needs are kept in the database itself, and the browsers access them directly from the database. Again, this caused problems redirecting or using profile management solutions. You need to capture both the database and the files to maintain the user's data. It's also worth noting that the new store apps, the universal apps, also use the Webcache database to store cookies and other information. The applications like the Microsoft browsers read directly from the Webcache database. In summary, as the browsers and operating systems are upgraded, web data has been relocated from the file system into the Webcache database. The database improves responsiveness and indexing of the vast amount of data downloaded to the endpoint. But to maintain user experience, you need to make sure that you've got the Webcache database and the files that correspond to the indexes and tables within that database.